what does it mean to be America's team? Is it about trophies and championships? Or is it about something deeper? A team that represents the heart, grit, and resilience of a nation. Long ago, one team was anointed with this prestigious title. A dynasty built on success, star power, authority. But recently, a new contender has emerged.
All right. Hello, everybody.
A team that knows pain, a team that has suffered loss, a team that truly embodies the underdog spirit. America, this is the story of your Detroit Lions. America loves an underdog. It's a phrase we've all heard before, a sentiment rooted deeply in the nation's DNA, tied to the ideals of the American dream, and a belief that heart and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. And if any city truly embodies this spirit, it's right here in Detroit. Once the beating heart of American industry, the Motor City was the birthplace of the automobile industry, Motown music, and yes, championship football. In the 1950s, the Detroit Lions were an NFL force, winning 3 championships in 6 years. But just as quickly as success came, it was soon wiped away. The Lions' story began to mirror the struggles of the city itself. In the preceding decades, Detroit faced significant economic and social unrest. And the Lions, well, their winning days became a distant memory. Some even say that the franchise was cursed. And for the next half century, he wasn't too wrong. The Lions became a team that were destined for heartbreak. Things really reached rock bottom in 2008, exactly 50 years on from the curse, when the Lions became the first team in NFL history to go 0-16. They weren't just losing, they were redefining failure. But after hitting rock bottom, there was a glimmer of hope on the horizon.
First pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Matthew Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Armed with a franchise quarterback, a generational receiver, a dominant defensive tackle, it seemed like the pieces were finally falling into place. But unfortunately, once again, fate had other plans. Despite the promise, success proved elusive. The Lions remained trapped in a cycle of heartbreak and crushing disappointment, an identity the franchise just couldn't shake. And yet, the fans stayed. Through the tears, through the losses, and the endless rebuilding, they stayed. Because Detroit isn't a city that gives up. But by the time 2021 rolled around, it was clear. The Lions needed a fresh start.
General Manager Bob Quinn and head coach Matt Patricia both fired over the weekend.
A new general manager was brought in to chart a bold new course. One that would go on to completely redefine this franchise and their place in the NFL.
This team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Shortly after Holmes' arrival, the Lions turned to a new head coach, a fiery leader that understood what this team, and more importantly, what this city really needed.
It's going to take on the identity of this city, all right? And this city's been down, and it found a way to get up, all right? It's found a way to overcome adversity.
It wasn't going to be easy. The Lions were just bad. They were a team mired in decades of failure, sporting one of the worst rosters in the NFL. The Purr had to start from scratch. Their first bold move, trading away their longtime franchise quarterback. Worse still, the move added insult to injury when Stafford won a Super Bowl with the Rams that very next year, while the Lions staggered to a 3-13 record. Campbell wasn't just building a team for overnight success though, he was building a culture. He envisioned a team not destined to lose, but a team destined to fight.
All the stuff that's been here that has kept us from winning, If we really want to go where we want to go, we got to get all the rest of this out of our stuff, man. All this dirt, everything that's in our gene, this last bit of losing's got to get out of here. The that crushes us, that costs you a game, costs you a season, costs you the playoffs, costs you a championship game, costs you a Super Bowl.
And despite the Lions starting the season 0-8, there was a turning point. They finished out that season strong, pulling off upsets against playoff-bound teams. The players were buying into the vision and the foundation for Detroit's success across three core pillars. The first was building through the draft. Armed with a trove of draft capital, Holmes and Campbell transformed the roster, arguably drafting better than any other team in the NFL. They prioritized dynamic young talent at key positions, bringing in players who embodied the toughness and tenacity that Campbell demanded. Campbell also surrounded himself with top-tier coaching on both sides of the ball. Aaron Glenn was one of his first hires, quickly becoming a respected voice in the locker room and earning recognition as one of the league's top coordinators amongst NFL players. On the other side of the ball, Ben Johnson was promoted in Campbell's second year and completely revolutionized the Lions' play calling. Under his guidance, Detroit became one of the NFL's most explosive offenses, setting a franchise record with 8 games of 30 points or more in the 2022 season. And throughout all of this, Dan Campbell didn't just play it safe, he always played to win. His bold and gutsy play calling became a hallmark of this team. Fourth down gambles, trick plays, aggressive defensive stands weren't just strategies, they became a statement. And this fearless mentality rubbed off on the players, no one more so than their quarterback, who was becoming a cult hero down at Ford Field. The Lions weren't just rebuilding, they were redefining what it meant to be Detroit's team. And slowly but surely, America was starting to take notice. They first jumped to 9 wins, and then the next season to 12 wins, clinching a playoff berth for the first time in 7 years. And as fate would have it, destiny brought them face to face with an old friend. If there is a moment that marks Detroit's transformation into America's team, it's this one. The stakes were high, the emotions higher. Stafford, now a Super Bowl champion, returned to the city he had called home for over a decade. Jared Goff, once cast aside, now stood as the leader of a rejuvenated Lions squad. And Detroit, starved of playoff glory since 1991, had the chance to rewrite history. The game was tense and emotional back and forth with no clear winner until the dying moments. But in the end, this Detroit Lions team found a way. With grit, determination, and just enough magic, they edged out a victory that sent Ford Field into a frenzy. For fans, it was more than a playoff win. It was a moment of catharsis.
I just say it like this. Hey, you're good enough for Detroit, Jay.
Across the nation, people began rallying around the Lions, captivated by their story. Detroit rolled into the divisional round with huge confidence, dispatching the Buccaneers in commanding fashion. And next up was a red-hot 49ers squad in the NFC Championship. The Lions came out swinging, surging to a 17-point lead and playing with the fearless mindset that had become their trademark. But true to Campbell's philosophy, they didn't back down. They kept taking risks, kept rolling the dice, refused to play safe, even when points were there for them on the table. And in a heartbreaking twist, it cost them. The 49ers managed to claw their way back, edging Detroit out in a gut-wrenching 34-31 loss. The internet lit up with Dan Campbell memes, and fans were left rueing those critical calls. But something had shifted. Win or lose, one thing was undeniable. Detroit Lions football had become must-watch TV. This team had captured hearts across the nation. They weren't just playing for Detroit anymore, they were playing for everyone who ever rooted for an underdog. For the first time in decades, the Lions are positioned to make a serious run at the Lombardi Trophy. Even with key stars sidelined, the offense remains number one in the NFL and are consistently breaking franchise records along the way. And the country can't get enough of Lions football. Can they pull it off? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this Detroit Lions grit, heart, and never say die attitude is a story that resonates with us all. And so this is how America found its new team. Just one piece of advice: don't forget your knee pads when they visit a town near you.